I think great leaders are really happy to have to be challenged, because out of challenge and discussion comes a better idea.
How can brands ensure an excellent customer service in an increasingly digital world?
Yeah, really great question. So I suppose my thought on this is that brands need to think from the inside out. So of course they need to talk and listen to their customers. But I think another way of approaching this is to talk and listen to your people, because they will know where the issues are. They will know what customers really want, because the chances are they've been interacting more with customers than people who kind of in leadership positions. So I think the clue for brands is to tap into the intelligence that they've got within their organization.
Do businesses do enough to ensure customers become loyal brand advocates, or are they too sales focused rather than retention?
Yeah. And I think that's such a good question. And it's such a good question for now, because I think with so many organizations, both business to consumer brands and business to business brands, getting very nervous about the bottom line at the moment, this is when leaders have to hold their nerve and believe in customer loyalty and believe in long-term retention of customers, as opposed to getting pulled into the tactics of we need to get more sales in and we need to get them now. And my observation is that as a consumer, and I talk to lots and lots of people in different in different industries, it's really apparent who's panicking and going for the sale now. It's really obvious, and consumers aren't daft, and they can really see that. So in terms of answering your question, I think there's a mix. And I think some of the good or our best loved organizations are sticking to their guns, and they're really trying to build customer loyalty through building that customer experience. I think if you go for broke and you go for revenue now, I think it shows, and it's quite hard to then flip that and try and rebuild customer loyalty. So it's a real danger.
What are your top 3 tips then for excellent customer service?
Okay, so my top 3 tips for excellent customer service, I guess, as you might expect, the importance of leadership. And there's a lot talked about leadership and positive leadership. My belief is that leadership, particularly now, needs to be optimistic and ethical. And both those two things really matter in terms of the customer experience, but also the employee experience inside the organization. That's my first thought. My second thought is build, and people have heard me speak about this, but when I was at Virgin, we built our service mantra based on brilliant basics and magic touches. And I think that now more than ever, particularly with the move to digital service, customers expect the basics to be brilliant and smooth, but we still also want to be wowed by some unexpected magic touches, magic moments. And that leads to my third point, which is that those magic touches don't have to cost the earth. They can be really low in cost, but high in value. And those best ideas will come from people inside the organization who work with customers all the time. And I'm sure we can all think of lots and lots of examples of those kind of magic touches. And my hunch is they probably don't cost the earth. So great leadership, optimistic and ethical leadership, brilliant basics, magic touches, and find those low cost, high value moments for customers.
As an authoritative figure on business management who successfully managed over 70,000 volunteers at the Olympics, you've touched on it, but if you could expand, what qualities constitutes a good leader, and what advice would you give to companies wanting to improve their own management strategy?
Yeah, I think you could start reading now and keep reading for the rest of your life books about leadership, with people giving you their views on what makes for great leadership. I suppose what's always worked for me has been listening to the people around me and not feeling that you have a monopoly on all the best ideas. I think great leaders are really happy to have to be challenged, because out of challenge and discussion comes a better idea usually than the initial idea that you'd thought of. So listening, super important. And the other thing that's worked really brilliantly for me, and I've really enjoyed, is spending some time with the people, you know, right at the front of the organization who are working with customers. And that's how you learn what's really going on, not what you read in reports and, you know, not what perhaps sometimes people like to tell you, but walking around with your little notebook and just picking up key things that are really going on. So listening and spending some time really in the heart of the organization, I think that really helps to make great leaders.